Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Dumpster Cam. I am coming at you today from the kitchen and we're going to be going outside. It is springtime, my most favorite time to be outside. I have a lot of exciting things to share with you out there. However, today we're going to be bringing that in and working on some stuff from the kitchen. So let's get going. All right, we're outside now, and since it is cold and not super sunny today, a lot of the dandelions aren't open. They're kind of closed up like this. So I am just gonna try to find as many open ones as I can and just pluck them off and try to get rid, oh, sorry, you can't even see that. Try to get rid of as many greens as I can because we're gonna take the shortcut route on this. So I'm just gonna fill my little bucket with dandelion heads. It's like a Easter egg hunt if you want. I got 2 in there. And this typically would not be the longest part of the process. So that's why I'm going to give you like the shortcut version. See how they're all closed up? I'm going to find as many good ones as I can and I will report back. This is definitely not the ideal day for me to do this, but I'm on a time crunch, so I'm working with what I got. But you want to make sure that you are picking your dandelions from a spot that you know hasn't been sprayed with any pesticides or anything and isn't like heavily walked on or dogs going to the bathroom, stuff like that. So, you know, try to get clean flowers. We're inside with our harvested dandelions now. Normally I go for the bigger ones, but today I was just working with what I had. Typically, the next step would be to separate all of the petals from the greens, discard the greens, and then keep the petals. And then you would do that until you had 4 cups about of just the petals. However, personally, I just kind of pick them until I'm bored and ready to come in and call it a day. So that's what I did, and that's what I do. And I've already made a few batches of this year in the past few weeks, and this part is so tedious, separating all the petals from the greens. So last time I tried to just keep them as is. All the recipes you'll find online will say that the greens will turn them bitter, but I have not found that. This recipe is just, it's full of sugar. So that's really where most of the sweetness comes from anyways. This just kind of gives it like a nice sunshiny flavor. So I don't have a problem with that. Do what you wish, what works best for you. But this is what I'm going to do. We're going to take the quick route. And while that is happening, I have 5-ish cups of water coming to a boil right here. Make sure these are all clean and good. And yes, let's report back in just a second. My water is boiled and I just poured it over my pile of dandelions. And I always like to take a spoon or something and kind of push them down so they are all soaking in the water. And I am going to leave this. Typically I make this at night and then I'll come back to it in the morning, but I'm about to head to work. So I'm going to leave this while I am at work and then get back to it later. We're just making a little bit of a dandelion tea. In this part, obviously you can leave it. It only has to take like an hour, I think is what they recommend online, an hour up to 24 hours. So this part you can kind of take your time. But before this, especially if you are going to pluck the petals away from the leaves, definitely do that quickly. Don't let it sit because they will wilt and be hard to work with. So pick them and get this going right away, but then you can kind of let it sit and do your own thing and come back to it later. So that's what we're going to do. Make some dandelion tea. I am back. It is now nighttime. And our first order of business to finish the jelly is to get your canner boiling, filled with water and boiling. I'm using my pressure canner, but I'm using it as a water bath canner. So this is water bathed. So that's going. I'm going to put my jars in there to heat up while I'm doing the rest. So I'm just going to flap those in. Make sure you have enough water to cover the top. I have a little bit too much water in here, but it'll be fine. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to strain out our tea. Look how nice and dark that is. So obviously strain it out so you can keep the tea Don't just strain it in the sink. So let me do that real quick. We have the initial strain. I squeezed a little bit of this out. I could do more if I really wanted to, but I'm gonna do it through a thinner strainer after this. This can all be discarded now. It can be composted. It is no longer needed. So we need 4 cups of liquid. I'm actually gonna do 3.5 this time because the last times I've done 4, it's a little bit thinner than I wanted. So I'm gonna do 3.5 cups of this liquid tea. And if you don't have quite enough, you can supplement with tap water. I have my 3.5-ish cups of dandelion tea right there. I added in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And now I'm going to add in 1 packet of pectin. I'm just using the classic Sure Gel brand. I've read that you should not use the powdered liquid pectin with this because it will react weird. I don't know. So I'm gonna mix this in, bring it to a boil, and let it boil for a minute or 2. So let me get that going. All right, we are boiling over here, and now it is time for sugar. The recipe calls for 4 cups of sugar, but like I said, it's very sweet. So I'm going to attempt to put in 3 cups of sugar this time and hope for the best. I don't know if it's going to affect anything. I don't know. I don't know the food science of it all, but we're going to do 3 cups of sugar, let it come to a boil again, and then boil that for 2 to 3 minutes. So let's put the first one in. All right, 2 more to go. We were boiled. I took the jars out. I just put the jelly in the jars. I'm going to do this quickly here, hopefully. I boiled 6 jars because when I did the 4 cups of liquid, it would come out to 6 jars. But since I did less, it only came out to 5 jars, which is also why I reduced the sugar, because it would essentially be like a cup per jar, which is a little crazy, but I'm hoping it works. I'm going to put the lids on. I just cleaned the rims. We got some new lids, and then, you know, screw on the rings, and then drop them in and water bath them for 7 minutes. Last one going in. A lot of water did actually boil away, so we are good. I actually might even add this empty jar just to take up a little more displacement to make sure everything is covered and good. I'm going to set the lid on. I'm not gonna seal it. I'm just gonna set it on and come back in 7 or so minutes. I'm gonna fix it a little bit, but you know, I'm not pressure canning, just water bath. Be right back. We're open, we're good. It's been the time. I'm just gonna take them out and dump the water off the top. As you can see, obviously they're still fully liquid. And I have noticed that this jelly takes a while to set. That's why I wanted to do it tonight, because I'm hoping to have it for Saturday morning. And it's gonna take, I've noticed, like 48 hours to kind of set up. And our empty jar. And I've just been keeping this water in here and, you know, making sure it's clean and everything, but then reusing it. So that's it. We have our dirty sink over here, but everything should start sealing. They do not come out of the canner sealing. Yep, did you see that one? That one just pinged. They don't come out of the canner sealed. They'll just kind of pop as they're ready, and there goes another one. I do love that. And they'll seal as they go, and that's it. So we'll come back in a few hours, days, I don't know. We'll see how they go. Hopefully these set, because I did do some other batches. This batch set pretty well. As you can see, it's a little liquidy, but the inner part is thick. This one I even reprocessed, and it just is, that is liquid. So I'm just going to use that as like syrup, I guess. And then I have one more batch that I did. It was the first batch I did that actually set the best. So we have a good batch, a bad batch, and an okay batch. And then hopefully this will be another good one. So there's that. Well, it's been about 12 hours since these processed, and they're already solidified. So I guess 3.5 cups of liquid is the sweet spot for me, at least. I might open one up just to try it to make sure it's a good texture and flavor. But since it happened so quickly, I think I will make another batch. especially considering it is now nice and sunny and you can see all of the dandelions are open. So I think I'll do that. It is a lovely, sunny, although chilly day out here. The ladies are with me. They're eating my rhubarb, even though I asked them not to. Kippy's here. Just put my clothes on the line. And the order of business for today is dead nettle. So this is a perennial, I guess we could call it. It kind of came up as a weed at my house here, but that's fine. And this is what it looks like. I've already picked some of it, but as you can see, it's growing back quickly. This is what it looks like. It has little purple flowers, little leaves, and then big stems. The whole plant is edible. It's very earthy. It's not super sweet or anything like that. But I'm just going to harvest some of this, and I am going to cut it with scissors. That's the easiest way to go about it. So just like that. And then I'll take these inside and dehydrate them for tea. It has a lot of good healthy properties to it. We got a big bunch of dead nettle and a good bucket of dandelions here. That was much quicker and easier to do than yesterday. The ladies are back in for now. Got one egg for the day so far, pretty small one. And Kippy and I are about to head back in, but first, let's get some of her favorite plants. See if I can fit through here. I have a whole bunch of potatoes. They haven't sprouted yet. It has been cold, like I said, so I hope they're okay. Some beautiful flowers. And some catnip. Let me get her 2 leaves. She loves catnip. So I'll bring her in and give it to her and tell you guys what's going on there. So I'm just putting all of the dead nettle in my dehydrator, and I did overload it, that's for sure, but it'll be fine, and it'll shrink obviously once it's dehydrated. Again, you could take the time to pluck all of the leaves off the stems if that is what you want to do, but I do not. And it's all edible. There's nothing like toxic in there or anything, so I'm just going to put the lid on, plug this in, and let that dehydrate. It dehydrates fairly quickly. And then over here, I'm just repeating the dandelion process. So the nettle is still dehydrating. I've had to do on and off and everything because of work. It's actually the next day now, but so there's that. And then I did make another small batch of the dandelion jelly, and I have decided to go ahead and do the grape hyacinth jelly. Gonna give it a try. I'm gonna follow the exact same process, that's fine, that I did with the dandelion. So the same amount of liquid, the same lemon juice, pectin, everything. So this is a grape hyacinth. It is not an actual hyacinth like the flower. Those are not edible, so don't eat those. And the stems on these are not edible either. So you just have to pluck off the little bell flower bulb things. And I soaked them overnight. Got all of this beautiful purple liquid. They have a really soft floral smell, so I'm assuming that's how it's gonna taste as well. All right, so everything is dehydrated. I have a ton of the dead nettle dehydrated. I did just a few dandelions, and then I have some creeping Charlie in here that I did not dehydrate. Just a little bit, because that is a bit of a stronger flavor. It's kind of minty. So I have some of that in there, and that's a tea. And then look at how gorgeous the grape hyacinth jelly turned out. I made 2 batches. This one soaked for 8 to 10 hours overnight, and this one only soaked for an hour, so that's why it's the color difference. But when the lemon juice is added to that grape hyacinth tea, it naturally, like, immediately changes color, and it is magical. I would recommend even just doing that as like an experiment at home. It was fabulous, and it's just so gorgeous. And these set up very nicely, and I'm excited. I think they're gorgeous. So I hope everyone is enjoying their spring garden. There's so many opportunities for foraging and utilizing what is already out there. To finish out this video, I just wanted to show you guys my fresh spring breakfast. I'm starting with some of the nettle dandelion creeping Charlie tea with dandelion syrup in it. Some eggs from the ladies, fresh laid. Some huge spinach leaves that I grew in a little tiny makeshift greenhouse outside. I'll put a picture of that right here. A thick slice of sourdough bread that I just made with some of that gorgeous grape hyacinth jelly on top. So this is going to be a fabulous breakfast. My throat is feeling a little scratchy this morning, so the tea will be great. And I'm excited. It was all fresh from the yard. So as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Dumpster Cam. And I will be back soon with more videos. Thanks, guys.